He's got some great tracks on that album. Oh,
Good
good
morning, good
morning. How are
morning.
you?
I'm good, thank you. It's another day, it's a new day, and the
Mm,
sun is shining. What better
yeah.
morning could you ask for? The sun is shining. You've got us on the breakfast flight show this morning. So, good morning, everybody. It's lovely to wake up and it's daylight.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes me want to get up in the mornings. When it's dark, I don't want to get out of bed. I really
No, who
don't.
wants to get out of bed when it's dark?
No. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning to those on HPQ's Mixcloud. Do you know, yesterday I was despairing. I was like, there's no one on my Mixcloud. Now, this morning we have DJ Rudy, MC Megs, Jax Happy,
Mm,
Martine, and of course yourself, Sharky DJ. Good morning to
yeah.
you guys. And of course on Sharky DJ's Mixcloud, Laurie. Good morning, my darling. Kimmy Kim, First Lady. Fly out Mel. Who's that? Fly out Mel J. I can't see the
Mel
full
J. Beg.
names.
That's Melly Mel.
Ah,
She's changed her name. She's changed her name. So I'm just looking for something here. Just I
oh,
need.
that's so unfair. Thank you for
She's
letting
going
us
to.
know.
She's
She's
going
going
to
Maldives. I
tomorrow.
know.
We supposed to be going too. Oh,
I know. I know. I'm
shame.
so jealous. Don't say another word about the Maldives, okay? Just tell us when you come back and send all the pictures on Facebook after you come back, right? That don't seem so bad. But no, seriously, have a great time. We are very, 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 very jealous, I will say. And D Brown, Lady AJ, Verona. Green, good morning, my darling, and anybody else who I've missed out. I'm just checking
I think you got
back in
on
the
your
mixed
channel the
cloud.
MC Megs there.
I did. I said
Somebody
hello
new.
already.
Oh, right. Keep
I said,
missing out. It's my
yeah,
ears, isn't it?
I'm telling you, Sharky, something's going wrong. First thing I did was call out everybody on my mixed cloud. Remember, I was saying I didn't think anybody was on, and now I have some people today. So I'll say it again. Good morning, MC Megs, DJ Rudy, Jax Happy, Martine, Sharky DJ. How are you guys? And I saw you explaining to DJ Megs that this is a bit of a talk show as well as music. I'm sorry it's not all what you wanted, but it's that kind of show. I do some talking. Sharky will discuss with me or bring up some topic points as well. News, reviews, tips, chat, discussions, debates, fun stuff, you name it. That's what goes on here every Monday and Tuesday. And of course, you've got the wonderful Sharky DJ playing some grooves in between the chats. So I hope you do enjoy. I
Hmm.
hope you do come back. And if you do, spread the word. And come and see us every Monday and Tuesday from 7 till 10 a.m. And I come on from 8 a.m. Now, with that said, you were talking about a very interesting subject this morning about benefits. Someone living in
Mm,
Thailand
yep.
claiming how much benefit?
2,300 a month.
That's a lot of money.
That's a wage. And I mean, in Thailand, that is a lot of money. You could do a lot with that kind of money.
You can live a life of
Live a
luxury with
good life of
2,300
yeah,
coming in.
live a good
I mean,
life of luxury.
how they got away with that, I don't know. There must have been a sophisticated
four
bank transaction.
years.
Wow. That's
four
a lot of money to
years.
pay back now.
Yeah,
That's if
yeah.
they can extradite them from Thailand.
Well, she's been arrested by the Thai authority because she stayed. I think she tried to extend a visa. They denied it, and she stayed at 10 days over. And they were concerned about her 4-year-old child that she's been raising over there.
Mm.
But there's something to do with TikTok. She's been boasting about, living on benefits, and obviously it's caught up with her now. So
But you know what? Some people are so silly. You know, if you are doing a little scam, don't. The key is not to tell everybody. Right? You're supposed
exactly.
to keep it a
You know
secret
what I mean?
so
I'm there
nobody
here,
knows.
working, getting up, 7, 5 o'clock, 7 6 7 o'clock in the morning, working 5 days a week to earn 2,300, because that's what some people are going to be earning, and you're over there just living it up while I'm working. No, how does that work out?
You see, the thing about it is, years ago, I could probably attest to that, saying, yeah, scam the system, take milk it for all you want, take all you want, go and do it. I tell my friends how to do it. As you
Mm,
get older and you realise how much you pay into the tax system, right?
yeah,
When you realise where your money's going, you start getting a little bit, well, you're having a laugh. You shouldn't be
of
doing this. And
course.
and to be quite honest with you, you shouldn't.
No, you
And
shouldn't be. No, definitely not.
and years ago, I was the same. I did that. I was claiming some benefits, got caught out, had to pay it back, learnt my lesson strong. This is about a good 40 years ago. Got a good
Yeah.
slap on the hands, learnt my lesson, and thought, I'm not doing any of this stuff. Plus, karma
Mm,
comes and hits me. If I find a wallet, and I don't give it back, somehow I'm going to lose whatever money was in that wallet. I'm not getting it. Karma always
Yeah.
comes and gets me. So I don't thief. I don't always give back and try and tell the truth unless it's
Yeah.
very detrimental. It
It's not
depends.
nice.
No, it's not nice. But I think that's what's been inherent of the UK. For too long, people have been scamming the benefit system. It's an easy
Mm.
way out not to be able to work to get money. But increasingly, as the years have gone on, I can't
Mm.
see how claiming benefit pays, right?
Mm.
Because you don't get the full amount of money to be able to allow you to live.
Mm.
Housing benefits. Remember the good old days where you say my flat cost me 1,500 and you're going to
Yeah.
pay it, and housing benefit you got 1,500 to pay for whatever accommodation you wanted.
Yeah.
It
Mm.
it was unreal, and so people were living in these fantastic places, and we were just paying them the housing
Yeah.
benefit. And of course, it
Absolutely.
does need an overhaul. I'm not saying
Mm.
that we should take it away, but in the papers over the last few days or so, Rachel Reeves is in there again. She's in there nearly every week, every day. I'm beginning to not like her so much. It's got like this Meghan Markle effect, I think, with people loving and now starting to really hate. But
Mm.
now they're doing a whole raft of measures on Social Security. They want to overhaul the system. They are
Mm.
taking over 1 million people off of the disability benefits. That is PIP. So
Mm.
if you've been claiming PIP, you're likely to be reassessed and you're probably more than likely to be taken off the benefit if you are suffering from some kind of mental health that they don't deem detrimental enough for you not to work. We had COVID and we've had this whole Gen Z, I think it is. I'm going to work
Gen
out what
Z, Gen
generation.
Z.
Gen Z, Gen Z. Um, Talking about mental health coming to the forefront, that's more important to them. Work life balance also. And so you've got a lot of people citing mental health issues and being able to get benefits for that when
Mm.
technically they could probably work. Now, I'm not saying that's for all people, but where's that fine line? You know, there's going to be that
Mm.
fine line of a person that probably needs to
Yeah.
get it that won't because they've got that band in. 1 million people off, that's going to affect a lot of people. Are there 1
Mhm.
million jobs available for people to go into once they come off benefit? And what is the transition going to be? It's okay saying we're going to take you off benefits, but you can't
Mm.
just take them off benefits and leave them right there. There has to be
No.
some kind of
Yeah.
transition into work or into some kind of monetary value, unless you want more people falling below the poverty line.
Mm.
That said, very quickly before we play a next track, and maybe we'll discuss this when we come back, there are nearly 1 million young people out of work, not in education, and not doing anything else. Not in education, not working, and I can't remember what the other statistic was. Is part of that context there, but they're now looking at that because they're saying young people should be either working or learning, or earning and learning, one of the two. And so they're putting programs in to ensure that young people are in a program of working or they are continuing in learning. Good luck to that program. They've been trying this for a number of years now, and then they scale back and fail again, and our young people fall into this pit of inequity, you could say, by becoming content creators and going on TikTok and doing all sorts. Those are the jobs that we're driving them to.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants to do. Is young generation is TikTok influencer. You know, you don't hear anyone say, "I want to be a lawyer, a doctor," or, you know, it's what's going to happen with this generation once our generation goes. You got the next generation. I think they might be okay, but the generation after that, it's going to be pretty tough.
It's going to be quite alarming when you think
Mm.
about it, because in the next 10 years, AI will replace a whole load of jobs. We'll come
Oh
back to
dear.
some of this and discussing our young people. So I was just reading DJ Rudy's comments there, where he's saying that, and you read this out already, there are generally
Mhm.
people who are on PIP and some people are scamming the system, and there are people that have never worked since leaving school. Well, yeah, I mean, people are people, and there's always going to be a section of people that will are there to benefit from the system who don't want to
Mm.
work for whatever reasons there is, and have generations within their family that have always claimed benefits. Remember that? I think it was Benefit Street or some program.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's some programs I watched where, yes, generations of households have never really gotten a proper education, gone to university, and just claim benefits straight out of school, which is quite scandalous, really. And as
Scary as well.
it's very scary. Well,
Mm.
what's scary is that you just can't live off of benefits. What is it? £72 every £116
I have
every two
no
weeks?
idea, but
I have no idea
seems like they're managing a lot of
how
them.
How they're
How they
managing,
do, I don't know.
I don't know. I got
Must be
my
after
utilities
their
bill the other
parents or
day, and
something.
somebody supplement in somewhere. Some side hustles is going on with all this benefit stuff,
Yeah.
and the government just wants to clamp down. Now, are they saving money because they want to save us money, or are they saving money because they want to put it somewhere else? That is the question. Who knows? Because there's saving money everywhere, and I still can't see no benefits. I really, really can't. I can't.
And the thing about it is, obviously, when benefits are cut and they don't have any money, crime goes up because they're now forced to go out and try and, go and steal shopping. They'll go into Tesco's, and those places where they can, put a couple of things in the bag and, shove more in the bag and head out of Tesco's. Oh, man.
Well, as I said to you, they need to be able to handhold them or transition them into some sort of work field.
Mm,
You can't just say, that's it, your benefits stopped, go look for a job. We all know the job centres, like the wild, wild west, it's awful. I wouldn't want to go in there and look for a job. But, if you're not qualified, sometimes these are the only things that you can do, that or be a content creator. And good morning, lovely Lee. And there are so
good
many
morning,
things that
lovely Lee. Mm,
and there are so many things you can do as a content creator. I've
mm.
spoken about many over the series. That is showing your toes,
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, yeah. Dirty underwear is another one of those. Fresh off. You put them in a sealed bag and you send them off, and that makes a load of money. So there are so many other things on OnlyFans to make money of, and this young lady has been making £5,000 a week. £5,000 a week, and you'll never guess what she's selling or what she's done. You don't want to guess?
Where you've done dirty underwear, toenails. I'm gonna go wild guess and say toenails.
Well, there's three actually, and
Mm.
one out of the three you got absolutely correct. She's selling her
Really?
toenails.
No
However, what
way.
she's doing is that, you know, she's got a little niche thing going on, and she sells her toenail clippings, spit, and bath water for
No
five
way.
thousand a week.
Oh
This young
wow.
lady is paying. She appeared on This Morning with Kat Deely and Ben Shepherd, and explained how she was able to pay off her debts. And she actually explained how the idea came about. And she said a customer messaged her and said, "It's really weird, but I'm wondering if you would sell me your spit or shower water." And then she was thinking, what on earth is going on? And she did. And suddenly there was a niche for it. And that's what she sells.
Wow.
So next week, in fact, this week, I'm resigning from my job. Resigning. I'm resigning. I could get you some good bath water, some good spit. Clip up.
Wait,
Clip up. I'm going to go to a nursing home and get those toenail clippings, right, and send them off because they're nice and juicy and bitty and all the things that you might want. The crunchiness, maybe you're a toenail chewer. I don't know.
do you know
I have
what?
no idea.
I was joking about when I said toenails. It was a joke. I
No,
really didn't. I really
no.
didn't think it was that. But you know what? The only reason I said toenails because yesterday I cut my nails. I went out. I cut my nails yesterday, and it went in. You mean to say I cut away and threw away and flushed down the toilet a lot of money?
I'm not joking, and you see me scratching my head because I'm thinking of what can I do to sell on OnlyFans, and you're going to see HPQ on there. No messing about, because you see when I'm rolling my cash, on those like YouTube videos, and when they're rolling in money, and I've got a cigar in my mouth, and I'm just throwing cash and a bikini on with my
Oh
high heel
dear,
shoes,
5 grand for someone's.
FMHs, and I'm throwing it
Wow.
around. Don't question my choice of work, right? Just don't question it. When you see me living in a mansion and everyone's living well, we're eating organic foods, right? And we're not
Oh
wanting for anything.
man.
Don't question HPQ. I am going on OnlyFans. I'm not joking now. Enough is enough. Toenail clippings, spit and bath water. Jesus. Oh, you can't get over toenail clippings, spit and bath water.
Do you know
What
what?
a
I was.
combination.
I couldn't believe it when you actually said that's what it was. I actually thought, I was just thought, let me just go wild. But toenails, gosh.
Toenails. Some people like toenails. Some people like biting their own toenails. Some people
Mm,
pick their nose and eat it. I don't get that. Maybe there's a market for that. Nose pickings.
mm. Nose pickings.
Now, you mentioned before the track that what would you sell on
Mm.
OnlyFans, and only one person commented. I'm sure everyone's got something they would sell. First lady said pubic hair. It's a good idea. Maybe you can film the shaving, and you won't know it's you because you don't have to film your face, unless people know your nether regions and they could. Oh, that's first lady.
But I reckon that that's a good idea. You shave it, and people, I'm sure there's somebody out there that will buy it. You
I
know,
would, if they're
especially if it's
buying.
like thick and bushy.
You sound quite excited about that, Sharky. You're frightening me. But yeah, some people do. Some people like hair. The hairier the woman, the better. They don't want them to shave. They don't want
You know what I
some
mean?
women to wash. They
They
want
might as well go and get a
bathwater,
griller
spit,
or
and
something,
toenail.
can it?
Listen, I can't get over that myself, and I'm sitting here racking my brains. What's niche? What
Mm,
could I do that's going to be niche on OnlyFans that I can make this killing, this £5,000 a week? Honestly, I mean, we're in the wrong jobs.
yeah.
Seriously, we've got this mindset that we're supposed to, like you said earlier on, like there's no lawyers or teachers or dentists
Mm,
and things like that. But what for? Why do you want to go and learn for 10 years and then have a debt of nearly 100,000, and then you
mm,
spend 20, 30, 40 years paying that off, and then you have to
mm.
get saddled into a mortgage, and then you have kids, and you don't really start to live your life till you're 40, 50. Then you get divorced, and then you might get ill, and then you die. That's a lot of
Oh
encouragement for our
dear.
kids, isn't it? No, seriously.
Plenty
No, no, no.
encouragement. A lot of encouragement indeed.
DJ Rudy coming back to scamming and benefits. They're generally people who are on PIP, and some people are scamming the system.
Mm,
They are people that's never worked since leaving school, and it's like people who buy stolen stuff in some pubs, and people say, if I don't buy, someone else will. And I think people who buy stolen goods, they're encouraging people to break into their houses. Stolen goods is only good when it comes to Christmas time. You gotta find the crackheads and get your Christmas presents because you can get some really good discounts. I'm telling you.
I'll tell you what, you know what cracks me
I'm
up. I
only
mean,
joking.
but in all seriousness, you're right. It shouldn't happen. But like, for instance, I know certain stations on when I was working on the underground. One of my mates used to say every minute you'll be coming up with something brand new that they've gone into one of the shops and they've stolen something precious, like a bike or whatever, and they bring it to station, they sell it. So he was always getting these brand new things, brand new, that these, like you said, crackhead would go and they'd buy them.
I'll tell you what, though, thieves are. I used to have one of my mum's friends. She doesn't live over here anymore, but she was a prolific thief. I mean, she would go in and buy a whole ovenware set and come out with it. Carpet, bed linen, you chair, you name it, right? Don't worry, don't even worry about clothes. It was the big items she used to come out with and be like, "What do you want?" "Oh, I would like this from Harvey Nicks." Okay. Later on in the evening, it just gets to you somehow. It was amazing, and I'm no thief. I tried once and got caught, and that was it for me. That was it for me. That was my foray into stealing
Yeah,
when
I
I
was
was
a
a
chicken. I
teenager.
just wouldn't do it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, I got put in a police car and everything. That frightened the hell out of me. Out of CNAs as well. CNAs in Croydon. I was escorted out of CNAs in Croydon.
I
It
can
was so
imagine.
embarrassing.
You're revealing a lot there.
I
I think
am this
I think
morning.
the nearest that I think I got to commit some crime was being a watch out for my mates burgling this
I
factory,
bet you wasn't a good one.
and I was outside watching out for police, right? And I saw the police car come, and my mates
You
were in the factory,
chipped.
and I had my little torch. I couldn't even warn them. I just ran off home, and I just saw my mates in the police car go into the police station. Do you know what my mum always used to say to me? If you go out there and commit a crime, do not give them this address. Do not give them this address.
You used to have a start
So that's
warning for
all that
that.
used to be in my head. That's
Yeah,
the nearest.
don't bring no police to the door.
Don't bring
Remember
that
that?
police to
Do
the door.
not bring
I'm
no
sure
police to
most
the
of us
door.
have gone through something like that with our parents. Bless
Oh
them.
God, it was horrible. I called my sister, hoping that my sister could rescue me. My mum never knew. She never knew. My sister went court with me and everything. I had to go court. It was
You're gonna get some
horrible.
licks.
Let's go cool. It was horrible. It was horrible. Never again, man.
Yeah,
Never again.
when you're a teenager, there's things that we do, and you look back and you have a laugh, and as long as it's not serious, like
No,
killing
no.
somebody or something like that,
Well, no, I upped it up to stealing pens then.
Pens, yeah.
I upped the ante, went for pens, people's pens and stationery.
Mm. D Brown said, I got caught stealing books from Woolworths. Look, it's all coming at you criminals. That.
Has anyone ever got caught stealing something or stole something and he felt guilty enough to probably bring it back or whatever the case may be? I've never felt guilt. Well, I've never really stolen, like I said, just C&As. And used to do little petty things, I think, when you were younger, like a little pen or a sweet or something. But apart
Yeah.
from that, no.
I remember
No,
going to the
not at all.
sweet shop and I used to put the sweets in my pocket, and I went out and I was feeling so guilty. Oh boy.
I'm telling you. But D Brown, what happened to you? Did you get arrested? Did you get put in the back of a police car, get escorted out like I did? So embarrassing.
Dear. Oh
So
man.
embarrassing. Not
Come
good
on,
people.
guys. Let us know what little petty crime did you commit when you was younger that you could look back and laugh at now? Ah dear.
Sharky's just looking at me today.
Oh, now you know what? I was actually playing a track that's in my hair but not coming out.
That's what I'm
Sing now. You used to hold
Used to hold
me.
me.
Used to me so tight.
Oh, I'm not going to sing this morning. I've got no voice to sing that. It
Oh.
would sound terrible, 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 terrible. Good morning, Pablo Mix. Good to see you. I tuned into your show. I kind of tuned in, and then the problem is that most mornings I'm busy. After 10 a.m., I've just got meetings, so my mornings are extremely busy, and I don't get to always tune in. But in the afternoons, I can get to like switch it over and see you bouncing on the screen. So always good. So I think I just caught the last ending of it yesterday. I was so upset. I was like, "It's not going on till 5. What's going on?"
4 is the time I think it normally finishes. Yeah.
Ah, well, for HPQ 5 o'clock, Yeah. So finish up and see. So I can see that we've got some other people who have stolen in their youth. And D Brown said we read this, that he got caught stealing books and he had to ring his mum. Oh, I don't know what licks you got. Lady AJ says, me and my mate stole leather skirts and didn't get caught. Oh, yes. DJ Rudy was stealing records. First Lady was stealing sweets every day. Every day. Terrorize the owners as well. So you went full throttle. You didn't even just do a little bit. Terrorize the owners and took the sweets too. I don't know
Oh
anybody else
dear.
who's doing that. But, as a last thing to OnlyFans, as something you could sell on the men here, because we're not hearing of the men selling stuff. Maybe, skid mark shorts. There could be, because there's a lot of you that could put them in there. I know there's a lot of you that could put them in there. The wives, those ones you want to throw away. Send them in.
The
Make
holy
some
shorts,
money.
yeah, the ones that you've
Yeah.
thrown away, yeah, just put them out there, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
go on
God,
TikTok, do a skid mark Saturday. Special offers.
skid mark Saturday. Oh dear.
Talking about that now, I've got a video for you guys. Let's change the subject just a little bit. Keep it on in the same kind of theme, though, that maybe should go on OnlyFans. But I brought you an exercise video or a massage. In fact, the talking point was the massage that I had in Ghana. Like, would you let someone massage you so closely? Is it too much close contact? Is it too intimate? And the same with exercise. If you've got like problems with your back and you've got someone that needs to bend you into different shapes just to make sure that your back is fully stretched, would you employ this guy? I mean, would you watch this guy do this with me, Sharky DJ?
Full range of motion, extremely important. We're going to do that one more time. Full range for that deep flexibility right here on the lower back. Extremely important. I'm going to come over you. Don't worry. We keep it completely professional. Looking over, under my chin, just like that, too.
You know what makes me laugh when he says we're going to keep it strictly professional, and he's already got his face in a, as you said, tun, right? He's had his face right in there. I mean, his nose is like, I'm going to take a good sniff and then come back again. Let's be professional. Then I'm going to rub my chin over. Let's be professional. Let's come back and be professional. There's nothing professional about that video whatsoever.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll do that, right? I'll do all the pressing down. No. The answer is no. Oh dear, I'll tell you the things that people do. I'm sure that's a TikTok joke.
I don't think it is. I think it's a proper exercise. He's talking
Is
about
it?
stretching her back and
Okay.
getting the maximum amount of stretch. So it
Looks
it
like he's
is.
exercising his nose as well at the same time. Like he's giving his, like, like he's smelling some salts or some menthol or something like that, you know?
In the next half hour, that won't be exercising anymore. I'm telling you, it'll be something else.
Do you know what I mean?
First lady has got that yuck look face on. Imagine you go to your no, not podiatrist. That they do feet. Your chiropractor, and he's like, I need to bend you into these positions to get the maximum amount of stretch.
D Brown says, nah, that's foreplay. That's
That
what it looks like,
is.
foreplay. Yeah.
It is.
You know
In
what I mean? That's
fact,
something that you could do at home with your, you know what I mean? She don't need to go to no person to do that to stretch. You do that yourself.
no,
You know,
seriously, that seriously is that is an exercise. Not at all.
you
Not
know
at
what I
all.
mean? Mm-mm. Him naughty. Him naughty, naughty, naughty.
I don't know. There's some strange things that happen on TikTok and Instagram. I'm seeing all sorts of crazy, crazy videos. And there's one such lady that keeps coming up in my Instagram feed, and I can't remember her name, but I've got her saved and bookmarked. And I think I'll be around next week, Tuesday, when we come back. I'm going to show you her video. And she wears like these cat knickers. She does this dance. It's like thrusting dance that has got her over 250,000 views and watches, and she just sings these mad songs and does this thrusting move that has encouraged people to follow her and like her. So you can do almost anything online, and there's a market for it. I mean, also in my TikTok feed, what used to come up, don't know if it heard me talking about manicuring or cutting my toenails or what it was, but you know when those people come in and do your toes and scrape out all the debris and cut round all the skin. I used to like watching those. I don't know. I'm a bit weird like that, but there's a market for these things. There really is. So literally, you can do anything on TikTok or Instagram, and somebody will want to watch it. And that's the beauty of internet. Any fetish, any interesting thing you like doing, put it out there. Somebody's going to take it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So bringing you something else now. Now, another dilemma that I've often spoke about. Now, we've been talking about Social Security and people living off benefits. And we've got a housing crisis, as you know. We've got lots of landlords that are now selling up because this renters reform bill is going on, and it's just not seeming to make any money for landlords anymore. So hopefully we've got some properties that are going to be available for people to buy, or at least to live in. Um, but we've got two such issues that I want to talk about. Now, one of them is where you've got a pensioner who's been living in her house for 32 years, brought up her kids, and it happens to be a council house. Um, and now that her last son that she was looking after died before her, the council's threatening her with eviction, saying that her property is too big for her, and the requirements are is to house her somewhere smaller to make way for a family that has a greater need. And in another story, we've got a young lady that's living in a bedsit with three kids, sleeping in like one bedroom and in the living room kitchen, which is not really good for their circumstances. They've got an older daughter who's got nowhere to study, no kind of privacy whatsoever, and they can't find any housing. So what do we do? It's a bit of a dilemma. Should we now be asking people who have got houses or been living in council houses for such a long time to give up their right to be there because it's now too big and we've got a housing crisis? And then we've got a family on one end taking the council to court and successfully winning because they've been housed in a bedsit. And so what is it? And then there's another case of a lady that took another council to court because they were going to house her like somewhere like Liverpool. And she says her support system's in London. And she's arguing why should she move away from family and friends? And she's turned down housing, and they're saying no longer are they going to put her on the register list for housing. So we've got three different scenarios there, of which is really, really difficult. Do you give up your housing if it's too big, even though you've been there and that's all you know? You know, should you move away because a house is available? You're saying you're homeless and you need a home. Should it matter where you are? And three, if you're living in somewhere small and you're looking at other people that have got these things and not wanting it, You know, what's the answer? How do we look after these people?
Yeah, that's a very, very difficult one. I actually had a friend in a similar situation. He'd been brought up from a child living. I mean, he's now in his 60s, but he was looking after his mother. So he was living in a four-bedroom house, a four-bedroom flat, and his mother just recently died, passed away, and obviously he's obviously lived in this place for 50 odd years, 50, 60 years. He's just been looking after his mum, and he has to give it up. I mean, that's where he'd live now. For him, he's quite happy to move to a smaller place. He's agreed he doesn't mind moving. But, when you got an adult now who's a parent and they're living, I just think, you know, leave them where they are because, that's where they are. Or if you are going to house them very close, find somewhere very similar because that's the area that they know. Now, you can't move them away from their family. I think that is unfair. If it's like now and you say, right, this is the agreement, but at the time it wasn't like that. It's a difficult one, isn't it, for
It's a
people?
very difficult one, and I suppose if you were that person who had a family and the council saying we've got nowhere suitable to house you, we
Mm,
can only give you a bed sit for you, your wife, and your four kids, and then you've got someone living in a house that's got four bedrooms and they're only
mm.
living in one. Is
It's
that fair?
understandable. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
it's
fair, but
hard.
it's a hard one, isn't it?
It's a very hard one, and
Mm,
the fact that we do have a housing crisis, the fact everybody wants to live in London, and London can't hold everybody, and
mm,
that's the reason why they've got these programs where they're putting people outside of London, and I understand the complexity of wanting to live around family, especially if you've got children that have needs and you rely on
mm,
your family to help you with that. Moving somewhere far away, not knowing a person, is hard.
And I
Young
mean, I
mums
do
or anything.
understand that because I mean, like I have a close family member who is in a similar situation, living in a one bedroom and has his children one by one from he has all of his children. So sometimes he's got him, his girlfriend, he's got his son that he's taken on board. He's
I
got
thought you nearly
two
said
other
side
children,
piece as well. I was going to say,
son,
hey.
right? There's about like six of them living in this small place, and he's just taking custody of his daughter, or trying to, and it's really inconvenient. Obviously, they're making it work, but it's very uncommitted. It's very small, very tiny. Um, and the sad thing for me is that, if a refugee comes abroad to the UK
Yeah.
and they're going to get housed in a lovely flat or accommodation with their family when you've got families here that need to be sorted out. You've got people here paying their taxes, yeah, to make the government work, but yet the government are not looking after them, regardless whether it's the council accommodation, whether it's the NHS, whether it's medical assistance that's needed. You have to wait months. And it's a bit of an unfair system, the way that we're being dealt with, to be honest with you.
It is, and yet we still got people campaigning to open doors to every somebody and their sister,
Mm,
and it's hard because I don't want to come across as a person who doesn't want to help somebody, and there
mm,
are asylum seekers and people in direct need. But the overflow in our country right now isn't directly just down to refugees and asylum
mm.
seekers. I just want to be clear on that. I
No,
think
it's
there's
not.
too
It's
much.
not down to that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
there's
just
a
that.
lot of
I'm just saying
propaganda.
there's a lot of that going on. The other thing as well, just quickly, is as you mentioned earlier, with the landlords, renting. It's kind of like, I even feel, buying a second property to rent out, but you're buying a property to rent out to somebody who think, well, you know what, I'm not going to pay you for a year, and you can't do nothing about it. So now you have to deal with the rent or the mortgage for a whole year while you're trying to make a profit. And then you've got the government taxing the hell out of you, when you're trying to make
Oh,
a bit of money in every way, shape, or form. So people are going to be selling off their properties and putting their money elsewhere, not investing in properties. Okay, more people are buying, but people who've got extra cash that want to invest in property, they're scared because the government are
oh,
not making it any easier, and they're educating people saying, well, look, you know what, if you get this property and you don't pay the rent, don't worry, you can stay there for a whole year rent free. And I know people that take advantage of that.
They do, and I'm just realizing the time is nine
Oh
o'clock.
gosh,
And
9 o'clock.
the last thing I want to say
Didn't
just before you
realize.
go to an ad break is on top of that, you're talking about landlords. As
Mm.
I mentioned the other day, the government, if you are a landlord and you've rented your home out, you are not allowed to sell it within that year of renting it to that person. But we'll come back and talk about that after the ad break. Yeah, I was just drinking my tea and I could smell garlic on my hands. You know, I had to defrost my fridge freezer last night after the top drawer was stuck.
That's nothing
Wouldn't
worse than when the drawer is stuck and you're trying to get it out, and it's got food in there, and it's just like. But you know what causes that, right? To happen.
leaving the
What
door
causes it?
open,
Leaving
leaving
the
the
fridge
door,
door open. You leave the fridge.
freezer
You got to
door.
make sure that your fridge door's closed. But what you need to do, right? If you don't know, is just take some lemon, clean the seals, and then when you shut it, it shuts nice and tight. When the seals are dirty, they don't shut time. Air gets in, the air gets in, and it starts to ice up, and then it affects the fridge as well. Because if it ices up in the pipes that go to cool down the fridge itself, then you're in problems. I know because it
Woo!
happens to me a
We
lot.
got
Yeah,
Mr. Hinch. You know, we got
yeah.
Mrs. Hinch, we got Mr. Hinch. Go, Sharky, go with that tip. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, so yeah, clean your fridge seals regular, especially when the summertime comes up, and make sure that it's sealed properly. Just get some lemon and just give it a good cleaning, and yeah, you'll be all right through the summertime
Yep. And if you've got a mound of ice in there, it's now time to start defrosting before summertime comes in. You want your fridge freezer working efficiently over the
in the
summer. Hopefully, we'll have
summertime.
a nice hot summer. We can store ice creams and goodies in
Yeah.
the freezer.
Oh
So, yeah.
yes.
Now I can open my drawers and close them.
And
The
close
fridge
them, yeah,
freezer I
and
was
get
talking
to the
about.
ackee that's stuck in there.
And listen, that Aki had to go. It
Oh
can't even
gosh.
stay. You know, after being defrosted all night and been in there for about God knows how many months, it was the fresh Aki. You had to say goodbye.
But yeah, Kimmy Kim says, reach the office now, climb 1,000,001 stairs.
Just
Good
think
for
of your
you.
step count.
It's very, very good for you, I tell you. Do you know what we have to do? And I think seriously, one day on the Breakfast Flight Show is actually get an expert in. We might get Jackie Fitting to come and talk about fitness and keeping the body healthy and exercise, the importance of the exercise, especially as you get older. And I'll tell you something, I used to exercise a lot, but I'm feeling it now. So I'm really trying to exercise the body and keep the muscles going because we take it for advantage and we don't realize. But yes, definitely going to be speaking to her on that one, see if we can just get her on for half an hour to talk about the importance of fitness. Would you guys like that?
See if anyone would start jumping
Gonna-
around on Mixcloud in the morning. You know,
Yeah. Do you know what? You remember, what's that guy that used to be on TV, the one with the headband, the glasses? And he'd
Mr.
do
Motivator.
Mr. Motivator. That's what we should do, actually. Get somebody to come in or get Jackie on to do like a little 15 minutes of exercise.
We've already got Pablo mixed with his energetic segment. You know what I mean?
I mean, no, Pablo.
Pablo,
We're
can
going
you
to
put
get
on a headband? We're going to get you a headband,
and some
right?
glasses
And some glasses.
and some
you're gonna-
tight shorts.
and some tight shorts.
Yes, I think that'd be good actually. There's something positive for people, and the importance of keeping that body fit. Because I'm guilty of being lazy with fitness. I need some motivation and encouragement. But at least I dance some salsa. I do get some
You know
kind of
what?
exercise.
Do you know? Don't listen to Sharky DJ, right? Because I like to park my car away from the car park from the station. Because number one, you get a little walk in, right? It's not a long walk. It's only about a 10-minute walk, right? We're talking about 10-minute walk, right? And then you don't pay. It's free. No, Sharky DJ wants to park the car in the car park that's closest to the station. It's only like a minute walk, right? And I said after that, never again. Now you're walking, young sir. Calling you young
Yeah,
sir,
but it's only
you're
because
walking.
like that particular day, I was just tired. You know what I mean? I know I was going to be mash up, and I was mash
No,
up when I got back.
no, he likes the car in the car park. So when he comes out, the car's right there, right? Right. D Brown says, "Me and Verona would love that. Yeah, we want to see you with it. Only if you get your headbands on and come on the screen. That's the only prerequisite. But
Yeah.
talking about that, and you made a very good point of exercising because it is really important. We are getting older. We're not getting any younger people. We're only aging. And there's talk on the horizon that the state pension age may rise to 67, 68, sorry.
Was
68
that for
now.
men or for women?
For both, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. The planned increase to 68 is under review and may be reconsidered based on life expectancy trends. Now, they're saying that we're living longer. Okay. Going to contradict this in a minute. They're saying that we're living longer, and so we're, too many people are in this pensionable gap, and they need to increase the pension age now from rising from 67 to 68. Now that review is planned in 2029. That's a good 4 years from now. How long have I got before I retire? It might go up to 68, 69, 70 by the time we get to our age. I can't see it ending. But perhaps when we're down on our knees and out for the count, I don't know. But when they talk about life expectancy trends and that people are living longer, I think of COVID in 2020 and how many people died during COVID. It's specifically the older generation. And my conspiracy theory was that COVID was put out there to get rid of some of the aging population, especially because the US, the UK, Spain, and I can't remember the other country, have one of the highest aging populations in the world. And I think it was China as well.
Italy.
That's it. China, Italy, Spain, UK, and America have some of the highest elderly people. And that's my conspiracy theory anyway. It was put about there to get rid of some of the elderly and calm down some of the bill that they were paying. And now they're saying that the life expectancy trends that people are living longer. Well, I know some people are suffering with a lot more things than what we had done in our heyday. And I think I had some stats here if I can read this on the screen. So they're saying, right, in 2024, there are 22 million people aged over 50 in England, which is equivalent to 2 in 5 of the total population, and this is rapidly increasing. Now, the total population of people aged 50 plus in England is expecting to increase by 19.3% from now until 2044, an increase of 4.3 million people. And the population aged 85 plus is the fastest growing. And I don't understand that. I didn't think our population was living longer due to money, economics, food, environment. I don't know, the number of older people in care homes. I can't see our population is living longer. Now, Lady AJ said, what was it? He's American. They do that. It was Italy too, aged population she's talking about. Rally Men says, I agree. I agree. I said this to a few people a while back. Yeah, it's totally my conspiracy theory out there that it was aimed to decrease the population. And maybe they hoped that it would work significantly in Africa, where they've often spoken about the population in Africa and that it needs to decrease. I remember Prince William famously went out there and did a speech for which he was absolutely knocked for. It didn't make the papers enough. Said something silly like the population needs to decrease because of the effect on the forest or the trees. Something like that, he said. Just
Decrease the royal family, that's what I say.
Tell me about it.
Right. Scroungers.
Get rid of them. We can get a fair few billion back into the country. We could feed the nation and sort out this NHS crisis, Job done. Instead of speaking out about things you just don't know of.
Thank you.
I don't want to. I'm telling you, my face is looking like this because I'm just been reading and doing some research whilst you were playing that tune. And good morning, Susie Cruz. How are you? And Cheryl A. Nice to see you in the house. And Spice, nice. Now, we were talking about the pensionable age and it's set to rise because of the trend saying that we are living longer. And then we were talking about COVID and whether it was a conspiracy theory to kill off some of the population. And just reading some stats about world population and what's been going on. Now, first of all, I was just thinking, how could the world population rise after COVID? Because, we killed off a lot of people. How can it be rising? But we must realise that a lot of people stayed at home, so a lot of babies were produced in 2020 and 2021. So I can understand the population has increased. Now, pre-COVID, it was at 8 billion. That was the world population. After COVID, or this year, it stands to rise to 8.191 billion people. Now, I tried to get some stats on the amount of people that died during COVID. It's ranging from the World Health Organization saying 3 million people, which I don't understand how just 3.4 million people died. I'm sure the numbers were that in one country alone. So they're saying with the latest COVID-19 deaths reported to the World Health Organization now exceeding 3.4 million. I think it's a little bit more than that. I've seen another report saying it's 7 million. So now I need to just figure this out and see. But I still don't believe that was the number of people who died. I'm sure there was the numbers in just some countries, in one country alone, more so than the world. We're talking about the world now. There's over 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
You're telling me just a fraction of that just died from COVID and they shut it all
No, it's
down?
more than that.
Definitively more than that. I don't know. If somebody else
think
gets the stats, let me know.
I think COVID was definitely something that was put out there to reduce the population. You know?
Well, the fact that China got off scot-free for it, this is what makes me not understand that. There was a country that started this whole world endemic, and that put some countries into dire financial straits, such as the UK, such as paying people to stay at home, and they didn't have to do anything. There was no compensation, no nothing. Was that countries just didn't dare try and challenge China? Did China give any reparations back for this? And now what they're doing is that, they're constructing themselves around the world, getting into several bases, and they're on their world mission. But the one thing I must say, by the way, there is a story going around that's making the rounds on WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook about Trump or Jamaica agreeing for Jamaica to become part of the US states or become the 53rd state. It is absolute rubbish and it is fake. Do not pass the story around. Do your research when things like this come to you and don't just pass it around thinking it is solid stories. There's enough rubbish on the internet and you must fact check before you send out. This is so not true. Jamaica is not becoming the 53rd state. Trump has not had any conversations with what they said. I think they said Andrew Holness. I think even that got that wrong. But it's not happening. So if you've got that in your WhatsApp, delete it. Do not send it on. It is fake
news. Yeah.
Heard it from HPQ. Sorry, I was just touching my eyes there. Ladies, you got to be careful. In the name of beauty, you end up damaging yourself. And I'm a lover of some false eyelashes, and I get them done every time I'm going out. Love that. Not all the time, just when I'm going out to accentuate the look, and because I can't be bothered to do my eyelashes every day when I'm on holiday. Now, this last set, I've always been quite sensitive skin and sensitive eyes, but this last set have caused a little infection in my eye, and I've got a swollen eye, so haven't got much mascara on. Look like I've just woken up every day, but so that's been affecting me just a tad. So be careful. Do not have these false eyelashes on all the time. Yeah. At one point, I thought my eyes were going. I'm losing my eyesight. It's just like some dirt in my eye, willow hair. That's all it was. Now, I was looking at the stats again for coronavirus, and they're saying about 6.8 million people died. That's around 7 million. Over 1 million of those were in the US alone. And in the UK, just 223,000 people died. China is way down the list with just over 1,500 people that died, along with Jamaica and along with some of the African nations as well. Now, that's not the story that was being sold to us about people dying, in terms of the paper and getting people to stay in. And we had this big Queen Elizabeth Mary Hospital, whatever it was, to house just 222,000 people that passed away during coronavirus. Now, I'm not bringing anything about the people who died. That's such a sad statistic. Nobody should have done. Hence the reason why we're just talking a little bit about this conspiracy theory. But we've done this so many times over the past couple of years, and I don't want to make it a mainstay of the show, but I was just talking about the relevance between the aging population, as they say, the population statistics and COVID statistics. And yes, I can understand the population increased. Whether the aging population is increased, I don't know. And who's putting the statistics together? How do we know they're true? I don't know.
We don't
know they're true at all. No. Now, I want to bring you something else that's a little bit of a dilemma also. Now, I spoke yesterday about a film that I'd watched, Adolescence, on Netflix, 4-part series about a 13-year-old that commits a murder. And the film just goes into his motivations and the after effects on himself and his family. Now, most of the premise of the film was about this young lad that believed in this incel culture, this involuntary celibacy brought about by Andrew Tate, which means that girls, they just can't sleep with girls, you know, and they're not getting any luck and they have all this male rage. And the person that made the film said he was inspired by two killings of females to make this movie about male rage and bring about the subject matter of what's going on with our young people. And the reason as to why he killed this girl was because she was taunting him on social media. And I think she openly said things in his face and threw things at him. And obviously, at this adolescence age, he didn't know how to control his rage, not putting any excuses on anything, and obviously attacked this girl. Now, the teenager Ilan Adnam, who was stabbed to death in Croydon. Hassan Sematu, 18, he launched a frenzied attack on this girl that was caught on CCTV after she stood up for his ex-girlfriend. So she died when he was trying to attack his then ex-girlfriend. We didn't know the whole of the backstory, and I'm just thinking about this film in the context of all of this. Now, what actually happened was that they used to the friend was supposed to be getting some bits back from this guy who was her ex-boyfriend, and when he wouldn't give it back, I think Eliane ran up, started shouting in his face, called him all sorts of names, threw water at him, or so forth. Now, this is under no circumstances mandating what he's doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about male rage and the triggers of what's happening and how our young girls are being affected by that rage, and the film depicts that. So I would urge a lot of you to watch this, Adolescence. It's called Susie Cruz. It's on Netflix. It's #1 in Netflix at the moment. It's quite a deep and insightful film. It goes quite into the characters in terms of the cinematography. It's not fast moving, but it stays on subjects quite long in order for you to understand the complexity of the subject. But it is very interesting, and it's a subject I think that needs to be tackled, is this male rage, this adolescence behaviour that's inciting these young boys to become violent towards women. I mean, anyone can taunt somebody. Doesn't matter if it's a girl, a man or a woman. It's about learning how to deal with that and not think I have to stab you to death because someone made a joke of me. That's quite serious, that type of rage is. And again, on the internet as well, kids are being pushed into this kind of rage culture. Be angry, women are this, women are that, and just doing offensive things. We've got our pop stars as well that don't help about the fulfilling misogyny and how women should be treated and how they should look and how they should act. And we need to change this culture for the sake of our children. Otherwise, more stories like this are going to come out about young girls getting killed because they've taunted someone and these young boys are not feeling it. And one last thing about that film in Adolescence, one of the things that the young boy said is that he thought he was ugly. Now, you get that mainly from girls. Girls are thinking they're ugly and they have ranges of makeup, the lip fillers, their eyebrows, and they get all these things done to make them look pretty. But boys don't do that. There's not a lot of young heterosexual men out there that will go and do any kind of facial surgery to improve themselves and rely upon the rugged looks that they have. So there's the difficulty there. Have we dealt with the fact that some men don't feel attractive and that they don't feel they stand chances with women, and how they feel about that also? It's such a big subject, such a big subject. But please watch the film. Highly
Yeah.
recommend it.
And obviously, the type of culture that we live in, or the youngsters live in now, this knife culture, and it's okay to kill. They don't think about the consequences of the future, on how long they're going to be and what it's going to be like. Some of them are even accepting, what, I'll go to jail. Lots of people do it. Later on, they may regret it, but like now, the culture is very, very, very different. So there is no respect. Like back in our days, it's like you don't hit women. Of course, you had the odd one or two men that were violent, but it was like you don't hit women. I remember being kicked up and punched in my face by a woman, and I was like, that mentality was I just didn't respond. I walked away, and I did eventually rage because obviously I was being punched in my head and everything. But the mentality we had back in the days that you don't hit women, you're stronger. That's what you were told. But this day and age, it's like, what? You put your hand on me or even call me a name, I'm going to do it now. And there's just no respect for the girls now from what, what you see out there, and it's a really sad situation.
I think it's both sides. I think young people just don't have respect for
Yeah.
anybody, male or female, for each other, for adults, for their
Mm.
peers. Nobody. And I just want to say, as a last thing, this young chap, Hassan Semtemu, who was 17 at the time. I think he's either 18 or 19 now. He got 23 years. He got jailed for
Mm.
life in court. And apparently he completely broke down and sobbed. I think the enormity of
Mm.
what he's done has now hit him.
Hit
The
him.
bravado's gone. All right, this bravado culture that he's gone. And 23 years is a long time. It's a long
It's a
time.
long time.
It's an awful, awful story. I will do. And
Remember.
I've got to watch that Leaving Netherlands 2
Hmm.
on Channel 4. Although, there's been few things that are trying to dispel the fact that Michael Jackson was labelled as a paedophile.
Hmm.
And when I watched Leaving Netherlands, I really thought their stories were true, what they were talking about. However, in light of some of the things that have come out, I need to watch it again. I think I just need to watch it again. Everyone's always interested in a celebrity and their fall from grace. And quick to point fingers and hands and accuse. And we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Only Michael Jackson and the kids really knew what was going on. And, we're going to sit here and speculate forever. But definitely, I think a one to watch today is the Leaving Netherlands 2. I'll certainly be tuning in, and we can talk about that next week when we're back on Tuesday. Gosh. Anyway, we're coming up towards the end of the show. And we've spoken about some serious stuff, some fun stuff, some serious stuff, some fun stuff, some serious stuff. Again, we've gone, on a rocky wave today. But just to talk about this one now, compensation. It's always really interesting when people sue for compensation. I've never tried it, and I think I'm going to have to, because what some people win is just absolutely ridiculous. And maybe it's just only in America. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But this man was awarded 50 million. This is in dollars, after spilling Starbucks tea on his lap. Now, it looks like, and he was a delivery driver, but he suffered apparently serious burns. Now, whether they were serious burns or whether they were just like, skin burns, I don't know. But a tea fell out of its holder and it fell onto his lap. Now, it must have been very, very hot tea, because it burnt his skin. He suffered severe burns, apparently, disfigurement, and nerve damage to his genitals, apparently. It fell proper into his lap, so probably could understand 50 million. Yeah, when a barrister was handed it to him through a drive-through. So that barrister's probably lost his job as well. But he's underwent a series of skin grafts and a string of procedures following this incident in 2020. It's now been ruled that he's going to get 50 million pounds.
Where is this? In America?
Yes.
It's got to be America
California.
for that amount.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I said. California.
It's a lot of money.
Yep.
50 million. 50 million suffers. Jeez.
50 million. I had another story where someone won 41 million. Where was it? It was somewhere else. But talking about that, TFL, a commuter won 2.3 million in TFL. And they've collected stats, and I think he was the highest person that's got compensation. But they've said they've paid out over, God, I don't know how much money. I can't remember. I can't see the stats here. Maybe over 3 million to people who have claimed from incidents, from escalators to falling off trains to tripping up. And they've paid out and settled significant sums of money.
Wow. Well, there you go. If anything happens to you on TFL or one of the railway, you claim your money, but make sure you got your ticket.
In it, and a valid ticket.
'Cause
Of
that's
that.
the
Don't be
first
travelling
thing
on.
that's the first thing they're going to be saying. Did you have a valid ticket?
Don't be travelling on the Avanti West Coast, and you should be on Midlands Railway, the slow one. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that at all. Now, just to end it very differently, because it's time for me to chip. As I said, remember the word chip?
I heard that word for years. Chip. Got a chip.
Got to go and chip now. Time for things to do. I've had a great time on today's show. And as Sharky said, we're going away this weekend. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, bringing you the show. You'll have Pablo Mix on Monday. We'll try and tune into that show, Pablo Mix.
Maybe get Pablo to start an hour early or something like that on Monday.
Well, we could ask him. He's listening. Hey, Pabs. Hey, Pabs. could do that. But anyway, guys, it's time to go now. In the leaving you with thoughts of food. We've had all sorts of things. We've had toenail clippings, spit, and bath water. Right.
OnlyFans.
Not going to forget that. Not going to the trio, as well. Never going to forget that. And for those who've joined late, I'm sorry, I'm not going to explain it now. Maybe SharkyDJ may do on his outro for the last 15 minutes. But I've got videos of foods that people eat, and weird and strange and wonderful foods. Well, this African couple, this wife always makes this man this big dish. Normally it's like fufu and some big roast crow, right? And he eats the head and crunches it off and everything. He's got a head of food, but the way that he eats it is slightly different. It's only 14 seconds long. I'm going to leave you with this because I've got to leave you with some good stuff before I go. And I will see you guys next week. This is
Be
nasty.
prepared to cringe, guys. Be prepared to cringe.
This
Okay,
is
go
nasty.
for it.
This
Go
is
for it.
nasty.
Oh, God. Oh, my gosh.
I'm
I'll
going to
tell you
show it
what.
one more time and then I'm going to leave.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea what it is, but it looked like some kind of goat's head or something. The man sticks his finger up the nose and he's pulling it out of the nose and then licking it. Oh God, how disgusting is that?